I came to know about this request for proposal that was floated through the Status of Women Canada, through Skills for Change, about a project that could be initiated by any woman in the community. The idea could have been anything, but the one idea that I wanted to float was to help women. And why women? This idea had to be close to my heart. And because I am a woman and I have struggled after coming to Canada, I felt that I could understand women's issues better than anyone else. So that was my project, to work with new women immigrants between the age group of 35 to 55 years of age who were unemployed / underemployed, facing some kind of an abuse. So, and the goal of the project was to take them from a situation of this situation to a situation of employment within a year's time, because that was the period of the project, and to align them not to survival jobs, to align them to their professions based on their expertise.
What the empowerment project did to me was to help me realize my own inner strength. All of us have strengths, but how many of them know what we have? And I was also in a stage where I was losing self-confidence. I was doing so many things, so many activities, but I did without taking a moment to see whether it had any impact, whether those activities were helping me. What Sunita did and what those meetings that we used to have every 2 weeks helped me to do was to focus on the strategy, was to eliminate unnecessary activities so that I could bring my energy into what is required and set a deadline for myself to get a job. And that was something daring which I would not have done if I was not part of the project. But then I did set a deadline for myself to get a job, and I did get a job within that deadline.
Initial activities had to do with ascertaining what were their key strengths and weaknesses, understanding those at an individual level, and then understanding their KSAOs, their knowledge, their attributes, their skills, and their abilities, understanding those at a professional level. So all these activities were integrated, and then looking at gaps, where are those gaps, and then seeing whether the retraining was sufficient or anything else is required on the retraining process.
When I met Sunita and heard about this project, I worked really hard to get into this program. And when I successfully ended up being part of this program, this was exactly what it helped me with, to build up my self-confidence again and be able to use my knowledge, to use my experiences, and to go out and seek for a job that I really would like to have. You have to be passionate about what you would like to do and showcase this passion throughout everything you do. Showcase it in your resume, in your cover letter, in your interviews, and even informal discussions that you have with people. Tell them how passionate you feel about what you really would like to do.
You already have all this potential, you already have these skills and experience and capabilities, but you just need that last push that actually is going to set you apart and just takes you to another dimension, to another level of your career life and personal life as well, because these are related. So Empowering Project, that's what it does. Many people have that potential, have those skills, but just need that last push to break free and go to another dimension. They learn more, they become leaders, they become business leaders, they become our professors in universities, they become better people in general. They become huge contributors to our society. These people are really precious. So with just a little bit of push, a little bit of help, we can create a Canada that we always want.
In the first quarter, I encountered challenges. One of the girls who was a little bit negative and she felt that she could overcome, that she had a lot of negative traits in her personality, and she kept saying that I'm not going to achieve success, I haven't been able to achieve it so far, I don't think this program will help me. And to the greatest amazement, she was the one who actually got the first job. And there was this other woman who was not able to make it to these meetings and who kept taking excuses and feeling that I can't come. And then the other two women, they gave her the strength to say, you have to come. When we can come, you can come. And slowly a family developed among the three women. The activities were happening at one end, and then the relationship was developing from the other end. And it was that relationship, I think, that enabled these women to come and keep coming to these meetings. It's a wonderful, great opportunity that Skills for Change gave me, and the faith that was reposed in me. And finally, I would like to thank Status of Women Canada, without whose funding support I wouldn't have been able to achieve the goal of the first project. Thank you for helping me achieve my dream. Thank you for being there.
The TV program which I proposed under this Women in Leadership program was meant for immigrant women, and the idea was to take the information which immigrant women need to their doorsteps. When I came here, I had like so many issues. Like I had a young child, I couldn't drive, so going out and about was very, very difficult. So anything which you can access, any information which you can access about Canadian society sitting at home is sort of very, very useful. It's wonderful. Compared to that, if you have to go outside to a job center or anywhere, it's so difficult, especially if you are a woman, if you have family, if you can't drive. When I first came to Canada, I started working with a community TV channel at the time when Pakistan was having national elections. So I did a couple of shows with them. Then they offered me a weekly program on their TV channel. So when I started doing that show, I realized that it's a very, very good opportunity to reach out to the community members living here in Canada. So that program sort of paved the way for this program for immigrant women. Coming up with a TV show is a very, very sort of long drawn process, as you would believe. First we had to select topics, then we had to do the research, coming up with the scripts, and then doing the recordings and post-productions. So by now most of our shows are complete, but we want to start airing them from early next year in January. But the people who participated in those programs and those who have seen some of the recordings which we did, they are very enthusiastic about it. We did a show on bridging programs. I feel that bridging programs here in Canada are very, very useful for immigrants. The same way we did a show on the acceptance of credentials here in Canada, and on affordable childcare. So all of these things, they came from my own personal experience, because at the time when I was doing this show, I was still a newcomer and I was still undergoing some of those experiences, and my memory was sort of very fresh as well. TV production is hugely expensive, so we really sort of wanted to make sure that we do this project, and we do it for some time, because a few one-off shows we felt they are not enough to meet the goals of this project. Even though we had very little money, we were able to overcome a number of hurdles, mainly financial problems, and people offered their services to us at at very subsidized rates, I would say. We have a website for IVIN, Immigrant Women's Information Network, and the shows will be uploaded there too. Information is hugely important, and a lot of information can be made very, very accessible through internet and through social media. So if we want immigrants to succeed in this country, we need to make that information available to them, and through most inexpensive channels. So the whole purpose of this program, and of course the future of this program, the way I see, is that we want to sort of run it for as long as we feel that we have information which can help immigrants change their lives. So we will continue with the program, and we will take that information to people who need it.
कामयाबी के इस सफ़र में मैं बनूंगी आपकी हमकदम।
The EWLF started in September of last year after I had applied to the Skills for Change Leaders in Residence program, and I received a grant. And I modeled the EWLF after a program that I'm a part of, which is called the Shadow Cabinet. And the Shadow Cabinet is a group of, is currently a group of young women leaders, and as part of the group we get to meet different individuals in positions of authority, and the purpose again is to offer a community to young immigrant women, but also to offer leadership opportunities through networking, and through having different community leaders speak to those women about their experiences, so that there's a process of learning and a process of collaboration and experience sharing.
What we were looking for in participants when we were doing the selection process were people who were really interested in social issues, or who were interested in leadership opportunities but not necessarily have had the opportunity to do so. People who were interested in doing self-development, and also learn about how they can also contribute to their wider community. We wanted young people who would be really interested in the program, but also who would like to get to know each other and build a community, and likely that's exactly what we found.
I found EWF to be a very positive, safe, and nurturing, supportive space for me, and I really grew a lot, I think, and it's really great to connect with role models in the community and have that mentorship, and also empower girls and women in the community. We've had a lot of passionate speakers through EWF come and speak to us, and these are all, I would say all of them are strong women, and who are very successful, and that was very refreshing to see. I learned about a lot of things. I learned about feminism, racism, the intersectionality between those two, and it was very nurturing for me to learn and also unlearn a lot of things.
The meetings consist of two different components. So one of them is a dinner, and the other is a group discussion. For the dinner, 2 fellows were chosen each time, and they had an opportunity to have to discuss different issues and to have a more intimate conversation with the guest speaker. And after the dinner, the guest speaker, the fellows, and I joined the rest of the cohort for a larger discussion.
I think we were able to talk about topics that you usually can't talk about up front. So it was a very safe and comfortable zone where you can share stories, you can share your life experiences with these diverse group of people that come from medicine, journalism, global health, all these different fields. I think professionally it helped me become a better leader. So in a lot of our sessions, what we had to do was sometimes we had the opportunity to introduce the speaker, and so required reading up on them and getting to know a bit of their background, monitoring, discussions, and asking follow-up questions. The program helped me with my communication skills, touched on my leadership skills, and it worked in a lot on my networking skills.
We also had an online tool to encourage online engagement. I based all of this on the gender-based analysis released by Skills for Change, and one of the points that I remember very clearly was that a good, positive, and effective leadership program would allow participants to engage permanently and to engage for large periods of time. Because of logistical barriers, we couldn't meet all the time. And so we created this tool to encourage engagement in between sessions.
I think we want to continue to encourage young people to seek those skills of a leader. No, but not only in like boardrooms or in government or in their professional lives, but also in their personal lives. We want to continue having difficult conversations with each other and creating a network and bringing people together and thinking I'm not the only one that's going through these issues and that we can help each other. We hope that we can continue doing that next year and grow it even in the years to come.
My family has given me a lot of strength and a lot of support, and that is the family that I was born into. Through community building, I've acquired an even bigger family, and it's been really important for my personal growth to create a community and to have my family really expand, to have friends and mentors be a part of my family network. And it is that family network and it is that community that I wanted to offer the fellows in the Emerging Women Leaders program.
In 2012, I was employed by Northumberland County to start the immigration portal for the community. It's an online central repository of information that newcomers and immigrants need in order to help them in their transition to their new life in Canada. Early on, however, I knew that, and because I am an immigrant, I knew that information is not enough. Like the ability to source this information is not enough. I knew that there has to be programs and services in the community for immigrants. And so when I saw the posting for the leader in residence by the Skills for Change, I thought that it was perfect. Number one, because it addressed the barriers to leadership that newcomer women face. And I thought that barriers that newcomer women in Northumberland experience, such as looking for opportunity, language training, isolation, because this is a rural community and there's the public transportation don't really reach all the rural areas. So newcomers, when they come to certain parts of our community, they are highly isolated and they need special transport to bring them to Coburg, which is the biggest town here and where the settlement agency is located. Northumberland County has a long history of immigration. In fact, the early settlers here were immigrants. We have historic points in our communities where we have European arrivals coming to our shores. Although that picture has shifted quite dramatically in the past 20 to 30 years, because the arrivals have now come from either Asia, Latin America, or parts of the Caribbean. Because of the work that I do for Northumberland County, I'm always connecting with the newcomer population. So and I always attend social events such as parties in the Filipino community or other parties hosted by ethnic groups. So when there's an opportunity for me, I always go, and that's how I meet them. There are many successes in the past 12 months that doing this project for Skills for Change. One is the cooking session, because I always have women asking, Dinden, when's the next cooking session? And what recipe are we doing? And the energy and the cheerfulness of the women have been very inspiring. Another moment would probably be Rosa's concerts, because when she told me that she wanted to do the concert, but she needed help to do it. And I just said, we just do it, and then we'll think of something.
One of the meetings that we had is when I met Dindin Villarino, and with Dindin we had different kind of conversation. We was sharing about our experiences here in Canada. When she knew about the things that I was doing in my country as a journalist and also as a singer, because I was a professional singer, and the plans and the ideas that I had, she was practically the first person that really listened to me. Through her, I was able to realize one of my dreams, a music concert from Latin America. So I realized two, one in February and another in May. And really was something that for a long time I wanted to do, because in my view is one of the ways that we can help to the integration between newcomers. The importance of the women's circle, the women being together here is because in that way, apart of increase our network, we are able to listen the different kind of experience. Newcomer women in Northumberland County represent different countries, different cultures, and that's the way that we can learn from them. Talking, we have a meeting, we have a coffee, so in that way we learn of each other. And also in that way, many times we realize what would be the solutions for different kind of problems or difficulties that we have, right?
Immigrants, when they feel welcome and when they feel that their community has become their home, because there is that transition of claiming the community their home, and they feel that this community has become their home, they become involved. In the project that I'm doing for Skills for Change, I am collecting stories of triumph and integration of at least 5 women. One woman, Ate Carey, who's been here for like 40 years, and in that span of time, she's always volunteered for the community, and that alone speaks of the value and commitment of an immigrant's life in a community. The publication that I'm talking about is called In Our Own Words, and this is where we highlight women stories in Northumberland County. Yeah, I think one of the women, when I was talking to them, told me that it's nice when they feel that people believe in them, and that's when they are able to achieve heights that they thought that they would never do in their new homes.